Yeah, 14 days. Yeah, 14-day forecast. Oh, 10-day forecast. Oh, and all these other forecasts. There was no prediction of this happening. There was no prediction of this happening, of coming from the west so much rain. This is not anything to do with what we would call the monsoons. This is Mediterranean. But why in the world? The Mediterranean winds have done things in the past, but not at this extent. So why at this time, this extent? Well, there was a war, or there still is, and they had weather control, weather manipulation. They were manipulating the weather so that the persons in that area would have even less water to drink. Now, someone's going to tell me, "Oh, you're wrong," because the whole system, the military system, coming from the Pentagon, it is called the harp, and then the harp is also music and cultural things, and it's not all just weather manipulation. I hate to bring things to attention to people, but my father was working in the Strategic Air Command. Not just the Air Command, but he was working in the Strategic Air Command at Wright-Patterson's Air Force Base. And that was like the radar control of the United States. All the other radars reported to that place. So he was being trained by the Air Force to be a weatherman. So we knew, the family knew somewhat, and he told us some things, but some things were secret. So he didn't tell us that. He wasn't like that. He wouldn't tell secret things. He said that they could manipulate the weather. They could take the weather from Ohio and put it in Illinois. They said they couldn't make one drop of rain. And if they took it from one place to another place, the place that they took it from suffered. They couldn't get more water. There was no way to get more water. It was just a way to move it. And then he also said something. He said that right then they were doing this with one radar system, but they were going to put smaller variations of it in every radar system in the United States, private or government. They were going to put this in their radar system, and they wouldn't not even be aware of it being in their radar system. So in other words, they could have like Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base could control all the private, all the government, every radar that was going into the air in the United States, just from one place, right there, Wright-Patterson. And nobody would know about it. This was the beginning of what they call the harp. So they did this in so many places. I wouldn't doubt that they did it in all the places that have a radar system. So when this war went off, all of a sudden Iran got so mad that he bombed the radar systems, the famous radar systems that are only for helping the airplanes fly, supposedly. As soon as they did that, it rained. in Iran. So they went, people, you can be as secret as you can and everything, but then all of a sudden you have some employees that you have to ask to come in to clean the toilets or take the trash out, and they become, like part of the whole gang. So some of those persons, they became aware of what had happened. So they were yelling out loud that the radar system was manipulating for the last 3 years their weather, and they were having less and less water that was available to them. So those persons, I believe, they could understand that there was weather manipulation. They didn't have to go to a school or anything like that. They figured it out. It rained after those radars were broken. Well, this shows, the point, let's not get away from the point. This shows you can try to manipulate weather. But weather is a personality. It wants to, just like you want to go to the bathroom, it wants to go to the bathroom. And if you try to stop me from going to the bathroom, I'm going to get upset. So this weather that has been manipulated for the last 3 years is still coming here. Even though the bombing of those HARP radar systems, and they're very expensive radar systems, those HARP radar systems happened maybe at least 3 months ago. And we are getting the product. So this is coming from the Mediterranean, and not even just from the Mediterranean. It is coming all the way from the Atlantic Ocean. This is an observance. We're observing the happenings that in the Atlantic Ocean coming all across the way to us. And it's not coming in like a natural flow. When those dark clouds, and you can even see the rain falling, when those dark clouds hit us, they're hitting us really with high winds. And this chair the other day was thrown, I mean, like, it's high winds. It's not just a little wind. So it shows that the weather is happy to get rid of all the junk it has to get rid of. And we should have been getting, even ourselves, we should have been getting a normal flow of rain. We shouldn't be, already Mathura is the driest place in this state. Of all the places in UP, which is quite a big state, this is the driest place. And here we are experiencing that Mumbai. Now, again, put it in context. Mumbai is almost at the latitude. Latitude means north and south. It's almost at the latitude of 19. And now it already started raining. And we are at the latitude of 27. So we are about 9. Oh, look at that rainbow. Oh, I don't know if you can see it, but thank you very much, Krishna. Indications there. I'll make it bigger. It may give a better perspective. I don't know. I can't see it so much. I can see it from my point of view. I don't know if you can. Oh, so beautiful. That means that the sun and that rain are at 51 degrees. A rainbow is actually full. It's a round circle. And if were on an airplane and you were seeing this, you'd be able to see the full circle. But we're only able to see the circle like that. Okay. Anyways, back. That's too big. Come on, back down. Yeah, okay, so now you've got Mumbai that doesn't have water because they were waiting for the water to come up. You know, the monsoon water was coming up. And it's at a latitude of 18, almost 19. You could say 18 because we're at 27 plus. So that's 9, 9 latitude degrees north we are. 9 latitude degrees north it's about 110 kilometers per degree. So that's almost, 10,000. 10,000? Let's see. Sorry, you guys. It's still early in the morning. Okay, 9 times that 9. Oh no, that's 1,000. So it's over 1,000 kilometers to the south of us. None of this is even getting near Mumbai. They're some further south, but they're not even able to get a drop of this rain. So there's like a valley that's leading to our place. And because of that like valley that's leading to our place, it is coming to Vrindavan. But again, I say this is not a normal seasonal rain. And we already have problem with rain. So it's not falling, in the right position, and is not acting in its right position. So I'm happy that it's actually coming to us. Yeah. You're a little sad that they want to manipulate everything. And they can't stop. The weather is a personality. It wants to get rid of something, and it wants to get rid of something in a certain place. But it'll do it eventually, but it'll build up and do it. So here we're just seeing the results of a disbalance of somebody trying to control everything. Yeah. I mean, you can look on the internet and everything. Nobody's going to say weather manipulation. They're just going to say that the Atlantic Ocean is in a chaos. I'm not kidding you. You look it up. The Atlantic Ocean is in a chaos. And then it's the whole Mediterranean Sea. Then after the Mediterranean Sea, it's coming over to us. That's a very long distance. And this is what we're seeing here. Yeah, we're getting this. And they say it's a higher wind, too. So the lower winds, the monsoon winds are low. And this is a higher wind. So even if monsoon was here, it would still be given this effect, coming all the way over to us. Yeah. And we're already going to have a bad year, and these guys are fooling around. Fooling around. Okay, I'll leave it at that, Just to observe the power of nature, power of Krishna. Power of nature is incredible. And to try to understand his powers is wonderful. Instead of just, there was absolutely no indication. Let's see, only 4 days before. Remember, 4 days before the monsoon hit the Pacific Ocean and disappeared. So we're on the 4th day, and it has not recovered. So someone's saying, I don't know how it's going to recover, you guys, because the monsoons don't just begin there. They come from Malaysia, they go into the Bay of Bengal, then they come down, and when they hit the Pacific Ocean, they disappear. What is going to be that thing that again establishes them? I don't know. So we're on the fourth day of what I would call a lie. Yeah, I would say that you better get ready for some bad times. Yeah. Remember in 1876 till 1879, that's 3 years, but of course this cycle in 1876 began around June, July. So half of that year was already gone. And then in the finishing part of 1879, it stopped around March, April. So that's another half a year. So you're talking about maybe 3 years, not maybe some less, 2.5 years of scarcity of rain. And I mean scarcity of rain. So it's not a simple thing. Yeah, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Oh, so we got go to to your mobile and look up the video on the Atlantic, what's happening in the Atlantic. They can't even predict if tomorrow or in so many years the Atlantic is going to go into a next stage. It's already gone through the first stage, which they are calculating is a 200 year. So that first stage is completely done, and now it's in a second stage. And in that second stage, once that is done, then the temperature in London falls down to the temperature in Siberia, because they are in the same place. So the persons that are more worried about this than anybody is Denmark, Norway, and places like that, because they'll just be ice. So they're watching this with their most advanced computers, and they're really trying to take every note they can. And they say they can't say when, but it's really close that the Atlantic Ocean, the stream from the Gulf, from the Mexico Gulf or American Gulf, whatever, that stream has now moved 153 kilometers further west. Instead of being out into the ocean, it has moved further to the west. And because of that, the return of the water to the Gulf isn't going to happen in the way it usually does. So the blood circulation of the Atlantic Ocean is just about to collapse. Now, if I was to tell you that your heart and everything is just about to collapse, you would know that it's a very bad time. So the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean's heart is just about to collapse, where the flow of energy, my blood is my energy, so that flow of energy, what energy is it? Well, it's the heat of the tropics coming up the coast of America and keeping the coast of America warm, and then it goes up past past Canada and into that area, into the Arctic. And into the Arctic, there's a hole where it falls into that hole and it comes back down. It's cooled off so much and it falls in so heavy that it goes back down, all the way south. Their most important part, that it goes back down at least to the Gulf, but actually it goes all the way down to the Antarctic. So that's the flow. That's the cycle of the flow, and it's just about to collapse. Once that collapses, then the freezing weather that Hanuman saw and his group saw, that'll happen again. And it doesn't take long. It's not like something that takes some time. The whole cycle, they say, happens every 400 years, and 200 years definitely has already passed. So this first cycle is done. The second cycle is just about done, and they make it into the last part very soon, because all the indications are there. All the indications are there, and everything is collapsing in that area. Yeah, so you got the Atlantic, you got the Pacific, you got the monsoons. It's a disturbance. I just say this because you should prepare. There's a disturbance. There's a natural disturbance. When you got a stomach ache or something like that, you prepare. So you have to prepare yourself for something. This is not a scare tactics or anything like that, but it's just a notification that one should be attentive to what is happening. Okay. Yeah. Get your food reserves ready and expect the best thing is to have a water purifier that does not depend on electricity. That is for sure. A nice water purifier that can be held, and not one of those ones that are like, they have those carbon filters, and if they get dirty, you got to throw them away and then go down to the store and buy them again. No. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Just go on the internet and get yourself attentive to what's going on. Just put a layer of what do you call it? Get ashes. People don't burn wood anymore, but get ashes as much as you can get ashes. Diatomaceous earth. Put a layer of ashes, then a layer of diatomaceous earth. Put some type of cloth where it can filter through from because you want to clean it and everything. You can use wood and everything, and then change the ashes, and then you got it made. So you got your ashes and your diatomaceous earth separated, and then that's a pretty good one, And you put it in a container, a big container where you can just throw a lot of water in there and let it seep through. So at least you're getting a lot of the contamination out. And then just change the ashes every month or something like that. You just get the cloth that's for making cheese. You get that cloth for making cheese and just take it out. Don't depend on a high-tech one, because then you have to order your filter. Yeah. Okay. Or I say, I just be a little bit, just a show. I know that I have to have at least 25 grams of protein 3 times a day. That's my cycle, at least. It should be up to 35, right? So I just look it up. Mr. AI tells me over a 1/4 cup of oatmeal. So instead of, cooking a heavy duty oatmeal and going through the oatmeal so fast, I know that over a 1/4 of a cup is good, up to a 1/2 a cup. So I got my 1/4 of a cup of oatmeal already soaking from last night. I'll take it now. And then, of course, lunch has protein. And then, of course, in the evening, I'll figure out a protein. And not in a system of eating a lot, because you can't store a lot. If you want to depend on what you've stored, you better get the indications on what you should eat, not what your stomach wants or tongue wants, but what is necessary for you to eat. Yeah. Okay, I'll leave it at that.